Welcome to the France 24 Observers. This show is based on our network of observers. You know the drill now. They're ordinary people who tell us what's going on where they are and send in photos and videos to document it. We check everything here in Paris and bring the best to you in this show. We start in Gaza in the Palestinian territories. A group of foreign aid workers has gotten together with local footballers to stage their own version of the World Cup. They're doing it to draw attention to Gaza's isolation from the outside world. We head to Gaza with McGrann, one of the organizers.
Everybody's very, very passionate about football in Gaza. Gazans couldn't go to the World Cup in South Africa, so we needed to throw our own because of the siege. There's a large contingency from France, especially from Italy, from the United States, but we don't have enough foreigners here to field full teams, so we seized the opportunity to mix with 16 Gazan football clubs with 16 different nationalities who have expat communities here in Gaza. And together they form 16 different national teams. We're trying to get as many Frenchmen as we can to play. There are different Frenchmen from ICRC and from the French government. The Gazans who are playing for the French team are very, very talented. And the foreigners who are playing for the French team aren't that bad. Of course, universally, the American team wasn't welcomed. But I'd probably have to say, honestly, about 95–98% of the people were cheering. There were chants of USA, USA, which are comical even for the Americans, but it's just a good chance to try and understand where other people are coming from. I think the foreigners who are participating are relatively amateur, but some of the Gazans are quite good. Some of the teams just have young men, some have older men. It's Gaza, so you kind of make do with what you have. Our goal transcends football. Football is a wonderful medium to get people together, but it is only football. We want to include Gaza with the rest of the world, understanding that the more bridges we can build, the easier it is to find solutions to larger problems.
Now we go to the Japanese island of Okinawa. It's home to more than 20,000 American troops and some very angry Japanese. They're angry because their prime minister has backtracked on a promise to move the troops out. The locals have been demonstrating. Our observer Dan, a Marine, went to talk to them.
There were what looked like a lot of people, a big field filled with lots of people. They say that the Fatima Air Base is super loud, and that's definitely true. They also say that it takes up a lot of space, and it definitely does. It's a really huge base. They also have complaints about service members who do ridiculous things like stab people and try to rape little girls. That's true. There are bad apples, but that's not all of us. Some of them think that they can't do well without us. But as a person who's actually lived in Japan, I don't think that they have the infrastructure necessary to defend themselves against anything, really. The great majority of us are just here to do our jobs. We're not here to terrorize Japan. I understand why they want us to close bases, but let's be honest, the Okinawa economy needs us, and I firmly believe we're here to stay.
When you think of Saudi Arabia, you think of blinding sun and arid sand dunes, but it's not always like that. Our last observer woke up the other day and thought he was in Northern Europe. He's in the Desert Kingdom, and his name is Mohammed Al-Saidi.
I've never seen anything like it. I talked to my grandfather and he said he hadn't seen weather that bad in at least 30 years. There was a terrible wind and torrential rain. Then in the north of Riyadh, there were huge hailstones, some of them the size of oranges. There are photos of them online. There were lots of accidents and lots of cars damaged by the hail. There are videos showing drivers just after the hailstorm. Lots of them are laughing. I think that's just a sign that they were in shock. They couldn't believe what happened.
That's it for this week. Remember, we rely on you to help us make this show. So go to our website and get in touch with our journalists. Maybe you'll see your report on our show next time.